Hi, and welcome to Behind the Bell ATL with the Salvation Army of Metro Atlanta. I'm your host, Keely McGill. The goal of this podcast is to provide listeners with a glimpse of what the Salvation Army does. Many people tell us that they know we provide support to those in the community who need it, but they don't know exactly what we do. We hope to change that through our conversations with Army staff, clients, and community partners. Thanks for joining us. Hi everyone, welcome back to Behind the Bell ATL. Today we have Captain Darby.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I am wonderful.
Good. To get started,
Yes.
Can you just tell me a little bit about what you do as our Youth Divisional Secretary?
Yeah, no problem. So I am, as you said, the Youth Divisional Secretary. My job and what I get to do is participate in all the youth programs and help resource the Corps and make sure that all the youth programs in the state of Georgia are running properly. And if they need any help, we come help them out. But the best part of my job is I get to run summer camp. So I get all the spend 2 months outside and enjoying the nature and having a good time with the kids and doing all that fun stuff at summer camp.
Oh, what a fun job to have.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about how your role impacts what we do in Metro Atlanta?
So as you are aware of, or hopefully you're aware of, that every one of your Corps have youth programs happening and going on. You also have Red Shield Youth Centers that are happening. So all of those things I get to oversee. I get to go in and make sure that they need resources. Like I said, I provide resources for them. I get to, our members of our staff go help teach classes at some of those Corps. We involve ourselves as much as they will allow us to involve ourselves into planning, but we work really closely with the Corps officers to make sure that they have what they need. Any like I said, resources, any awards that they win, they'll talk to us about, especially if they're still doing badge work and those type of things in their scouting programs. We provide the badges and things for them. So we know all the kids' names that come through our office and all that stuff. So it's a fun job.
Oh, so fun. Can you tell me a little bit about what is the youth programming looking like? What kind of programs do we offer? What kind of education opportunities we have?
Ooh, how much time do you have?
All the time.
Atlanta area has vast and very variety of different programs for youth programs. We have music programs. We have string programs. Kids are learning string instruments, brass instruments. There's a Corps that's doing vocal lessons and all of those things. We have a Corps that has a gaming studio in it that they're teaching kids how to stream and how to do online gaming and how that can become a ministry program. There's all kinds. I have so many things. I'm just trying to nail them all down. It's of course with our normal youth programs. There's discipleship programs that are happening. There are youth groups and teen groups. There's programs for all different ages. There's a scouting programs. If you know anything about the Boy Scouts, it's kind of like that. They have scouting programs where people are learning to do badge work. So you get to build fires and come out to go out to camp out sometimes and learn how to fish and all those type of things. Is Atlanta area, if depending on which Corps you go to, you may find 30 different types of youth programs, and which I think is amazing because it makes my job fun. I get to be involved in all kinds of areas and be able to make sure. Let them know that what they're doing is awesome. Because as a kid growing up in the Salvation Army, I didn't get to do some of those things. I just think it's cool that my Corps officer knows how to weld and teaches me how to weld and all those things. So it's so many different things. We could be here for hours talking about the different types of programs that the Atlanta area has under its umbrella.
I love that you kind of talked about that, we have tons of different programs, but it kind of relates to the officers and their experiences and their skills that they bring in.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing a lot of those programs are kind of taught by our officers in the Corps.
Yes.
Wow.
They talk about the officers, but also the local leaders, and some staff members as well. It just depends on where you go. Some officers are very vast in music, which the Salvation Army is known for.
For sure.
So you get a lot more music in that Corps, obviously, because they're doing what they're passionate about. But that doesn't stop them from doing other things. I know an officer who's very passionate in music and loves music, but has one of the best media programs that I've ever seen for a kid in their Corps. So it just all depends on what the passion that he has in the staff, as well as the local leaders and the Corps officer, obviously. As well.
It's great that we're providing those opportunities because, we've talked about it in a couple places. Some of these kids wouldn't have access to these things or even look or know what, a badge thing would be like, because they're in inner Atlanta, know? So it's crazy to think that, these kids don't have these experiences, but we give them a place to provide it for them.
Yes. Speaking from experience, I didn't grow up in Atlanta, but not too far from here. I grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Okay. But as a kid growing up, family didn't have a lot of money, lived in the inner city. And so a lot of the first dive I ever got to do was via the Salvation Army. So my very first plane ride was a Salvation Army event. I got to ride on a plane to Atlanta from Chattanooga, which was up and down. But I got to ride on a plane. My first time ever being in a hotel room. You didn't have a hotel stay. Was at a Salvation Army event. And first time I played on the basketball team, learned how to swim in a Salvation Army swimming pool. Most of my major firsts in my life happened at a Salvation Army event or summer camp or something like that. I remember the first time I ever knew what a cricket sounded like. It sounds weird to say, but the first time I ever knew what a cricket sounded like, I was at a summer camp. And I was terrified because I didn't know what that sound was, and it would not stop. The opportunity that we provide as a Salvation Army to a lot of kids is a thing that they would never have an opportunity. My family would never be able to put me on an airplane at that age. Yeah. I was fortunate enough to be able to go to that. Those things are valuable lessons that most people take for granted, and we're providing that for a lot of young people.
Thank you for sharing that. That is great to hear. I'm the opposite. I grew up in the woods, small town Georgia. So me coming into the city, I'm like, oh my gosh, media classes. What does that look like? And here I am filming a podcast. So I probably would have loved that as a kid. But you touched a little bit on it. So I know you do a lot of work for our summer camp.
Yes.
Can you just give me a little brief overview of what, Camp Grandview is for everybody who's listening?
So Camp Grandview sits in the beautiful town of Jasper, Georgia, right at the bottom of Sharp Top Mountain. Okay. I have to say that because it involves, especially our camp, the camp that we have here in Georgia, it is a key staple to what we do. So just so you know. But no, summer camps out amazing. For 6 weeks of the summer, the different areas around Georgia will pile kids into a van or a bus, however they get them there, and they drive them up to Jasper. And for a week, they get to experience the outdoors, experience living in a cabin with a bunch of new people that they may not ever know. But they get to have the most entire fun you're ever going to have. They get to swim. They get to fish. They get to act silly and throw pies in people's faces, and they get to, but most importantly, they get to hear about the Word of God in the creation of what God created. And I think that's probably the most unique thing about camp. You get to hear about how God created the world, and then you get to step outside and you hear the crickets and the feel the wind blow, and you get to see a big mountain standing there, and the animals that we get to see. So it's one of the most unique experience that we get to have is the Salvation Army Summer Camp. It is fun, just pure fun for six days. We've had kids who come to summer camp kicking and screaming on Monday, like, where in the world are you taking me? Why am I going to the woods? You want me to come down here with these people who are just jumping and screaming as soon as I jump off this bus? And they're all nervous. But by Saturday, they're crying because they don't want to go back home to the environment of normal life, because this was such a great opportunity they got to have. So summer camp's fun.
I love hearing that. Summer camp is some of my favorite memories growing up. Because I was fortunate that my parents, every opportunity, they're like, here's a random camp, you get to go. You go there. They probably wanted the break from you. But can you talk a little bit about the different individuals who get to go to Camp Grandview? Which kids get to go, and how can kids get to go? So
there are specialized camps that we do. Our youth and music camp is probably one of the most specialized camps. Our conservatory is probably the most specialized, because they're the ones coming for. They get to stay the whole entire summer from all 6 weeks, and they get individual lessons on their whatever instrument that they brought with them, the horn, the guitar, the piano, whatever the instrument is. So they have teachers that come for the summer and teach them how to play, and they play in a band, and they get to learn that. And if we have kids who've never picked up a horn before, all the way up to professionals who have come and have went on to make money from playing instruments. Wow. So there's a vast variety in our conservatory. We have the longest running conservatory in the Salvation Army. Just wanted to plug that. But that's probably the most specialized. The other camps are community kids. kids from the community that have somehow got connected with the Salvation Army, and they come and they talk to their parents, say, hey, we got a summer camp we want to send our kids to. There may be a fee that's a charge, but it's very minimal for a parent. And then they pile them onto, like I said, a van. They come up to camp. So the opportunity to go to a summer camp is just getting connected with a core. Just saying, okay, I know that Salvation Army is over there. Let me get connected with them. And most of those other 5 weeks out of the summer, it's community kids from different areas around Georgia. And then obviously just they like I said, they get connected with the core, and they're I don't say random, but they're just a bunch of collective groups of kids. There's also some that are the core members and things of that nature. So they get mixed into there as well. But a lot of them is just people who have been connected to the core.
I love that. I love hearing that, it's not just, every kid gets to go to summer camp, but it's also they have a connection, or if it's someone in the area who wants or looking into it, they can connect with our core and get that connection one. And we've talked about it multiple times across this podcast, that sometimes that first connection can lead to so much more through the Salvation Army. They might have been, a family coming to our food pantry and then find out about the
summer camp.
To go to summer camp.
Yeah, there's a core here. I know. I'm fairly certain in the Atlanta area that during Angel Tree, that's their biggest recruitment for summer camp. Like, hey, I know you guys are, we're happy you with Angel Tree, but we know we run a summer camp. Here's the opportunity for your kid to go to summer camp, and the majority of their kids come to summer camp via Angel Tree program. So it's very, very cool.
That is such a great connection, and I had never put two and two before.
And kids, I mean.
Right. Yeah, we're helping benefit the kids at Christmas. Like, these are probably the same kids who don't have the experiences of normal. Yeah. So why not connect them to summer camp? That's great. Can you talk a little bit, you briefly talked about the programming at summer camp, but I know there's a lot of crazy fun things that they get to do. Yes. Can you talk about the programming a little bit?
So, the programs varies. Obviously, it varies. We have, depending on the summer, we have a theme every summer, and so the theme we may gear that summer towards whatever that theme is. But for the most part, you get the traditional summer camp things: the fishing, the hiking, all those things. Hiking is a little different at Grandview because the mountain that we get to hike up to the top of that mountain, and the view from there you can see all the way from it. It's Jasper, Georgia. Is probably an hour 30 minutes away from Atlanta, and we can see clear to Atlanta from up there. Yeah, it's a very cool experience for those kids to get to hike up there and just see the world in their eyes. So they get that, but you get the traditional hiking, fishing, and things of that nature. But then there's also we have carnivals, what we call carnivals, big bounce houses and blow ups that come out, and we give them way too much candy and let them run around and have soda when their parents probably never let them have soda. So we do that kind of thing. But then the other programming is that we do Bible lessons with them every day. They'll get a Bible lesson every day. We have specialized classes that they get to pick. So we have a class, for example, called Animals in the Farm. So they get to learn how to plant seeds and grow, pick other people's seeds that they planted the week before. I get to go get their tomatoes or whatever else that they get to see all of that. But then we also have a community partner that we have that will bring their animals out, their baby goats and their pigs and all that things. So they get to see that and get to touch animals and pick up a baby duck. Those type of things that I would have never got the opportunity to do. So you get to see those type of things. They get archery. They have an archery class. We have air rifle course that they participate in. And then, the kickball and the swimming. You can't leave out swimming because every kid wants to go swimming.
Especially during the summer and in Georgia.
Exactly. But there's kids who have never swam before, and they learn how to swim in summer camp because our lifeguards are trained to teach beginner swimming. So they get to learn how to hold your breath and do all those things. So you get all the things, and then our night programs get a little wild and crazy. It all depends on how much time and how dirty we want to be, because we have messy game nights where there's games and. I'm not short of being in a duck tank every now and again, and so it's just all kinds of stuff that you get to do. Shaving cream is not is an object that we get to use a lot. So it's just all kinds of craziness that we get to participate in. But everything that we do is to get them to understand just how awesome and great the God that we serve is, and the opportunities that He provides for us and getting to enjoy one another in fellowship. So
that's something that I've just learned, like working here, but being just part of the Salvation Army. It's all about balance.
Yeah.
And from the start of balancing our social services to our religious aspect. But what I'm hearing is like Camp Grandview is balancing, the fun for the kids, but also with the religious aspect and making sure that, they're getting education opportunities from like the animals to also having religious education. Yeah. So it's great that we're providing, that balance of things, but also giving these opportunities to these kids where they might not be exposed to them, or just letting them be a kid. Some of these kids might not, they might have to be mom and dad, at home, and to take that stress off of them and let them just be a kid for once is, I bet, magical to see on your side.
It is the biggest joy of doing what we get to do. Outside of watching someone come to Christ, the biggest joy is watching a kid let their guard down. Like I said, they come on Monday and it's like, I don't want to be here. I got this to do. And by Wednesday, you just start seeing the walls fall and them just enjoying being a kid.
So, thank you for sharing, a little bit about Camp Grandview. But can you talk about, some of these kids are returnees and there's leadership opportunities for them as they continue going through, right?
Yes. So one of the cool aspects about being a camp kid, and especially Salvation Army camp kid, is that as you go and you've been to camp several times, you kind of start looking at people like, you get to work here. You get to be a part of this. And so I would say about 85% of our staff are return kids that's been to campers before.
Wow.
They have seen and benefited from coming to summer camp. And they're like, it'd be kind of cool to be on the other side of that. And so we hire about 80 kids every summer to come work at summer camp. From dining room dishwashers all the way up to camp counselors and lifeguards and those people. So it is also a blessing that in the Salvation Army that we get to provide not only the fun part of it as a kid, but an opportunity to get your first job.
Yeah.
My first job ever getting paid from doing anything was being at camp, working at camp. And I know that's the same for my wife. She got to be, she worked in the dining room at camp. So it's very cool to get to see the transition of kid, especially when they come thinking, okay, I had so much fun at camp, and then they go, wait, this is a job. You expect me to be up at a certain time.
Yeah.
You expect me to be in a certain place at a certain time doing certain thing. Oh yeah, okay, I understand that now. This is what having a job is, but also still getting to experience camp. So it is one of the coolest opportunities that we get to provide. But it is also one of the unique things that helps us in our goal and our mission, is because these kids get to see an opportunity for them to love what they get to love on the funness and the experience of camp, but also I get to get the job experience, the work experience. I get to understand, okay, my mom's not here to wash my clothes. I got to learn how to wash my clothes.
That responsibility.
The responsibility of what I now get to, okay, this is different. I have to wake myself up in the morning or somebody's going to come see me.
Yeah.
So it's really a cool opportunity. It's been a blessing. I tell every one of my camp staff, camp is for the campers, but it's also for you. You also get to we get out of this what you make of it. You get the opportunity to make sure that not only are you learning the responsibilities of being an adult, but also your own spiritual role. Nobody's coming to check to see if I read my Bible today. I need to go make sure I read my Bible. We do have devotions and staff devotions and things of that nature, but my personal relationship with God gets to grow. I'm around a bunch of people who all they talk about is Jesus. Okay, now I have to work that relationship out in my own life. Mm-hmm. So it is a blessing. Like I said, the transition is so cool to see, and to watch the kid go from camper to staff member, from not just a dishwasher to, okay, now I'm a counselor. I got to figure out how to, I'm responsible for another group of kids. So all of that's just it's a blessing.
Yeah, but it's great to hear that there's different job opportunities. Because when I just thought that, we have kids come back to work, I thought it was just camp counselors. I didn't realize that they have opportunities throughout the camp to even grow. Because it might be that a kid might find out that they want to go into culinary from working in the kitchen.
Yeah. So you got dishwashers. You have your dining room staff.
Mm-hmm.
We have an arts and craft person who gets to be creative and plan all the arts and craft programs the kids get to do. We have a program coordinator who gets to program all the fun dances that we do on stage and the songs that we get to sing. We have a maintenance crew. These kids who get to come learn how to use a lawnmower or use a weed eater or there's a tree had fell down in there. I get to go figure out, okay, they're going to teach me how, what it looks like to move a log and those type of things. And I got to go get firewood for the campfire. Oh, this is interesting. All right. So, and then of course you have your camp counselors who are responsible for, okay, I got to wake this kid up, make sure he has his clothes on, get him breakfast on time, all of those type of things. So the jobs that we have at camp are a variety of things that you get to do. Lifeguards, we have lifeguards who are there, but you also have in our conservatory you have instructors.
Yeah.
I've been playing my horn for 10 years. Oh, now you want me to teach someone to do this? Okay, this is interesting. I know how to play the guitar, but you want me to teach someone to play guitar?
It's a different mindset.
There's a whole switch you got to do. So it's the opportunities are amazing. But you do get to see kids. Okay, I thought I would like being in the kitchen. Maybe not be for me. Maybe go try the swimming thing. Yeah. Maybe I can go do that. So you get to see that as well. So
curious. I don't think I've asked this yet. Can you tell me about we talked about the age range for campers, or I don't know. Did we talk about that?
We have not.
Yeah. So what's the age range that campers get to come, and then also talk about the age range for your camp counselors, just so we can see the differences.
Cool. So the age range for a normal week of camp is from 6 years old, 7 years old. Let me get that right. 7 years old to 12.
Okay.
So from 7 to 12, you get to come. I think a little under 7 is a little too young, kind of. But from 7 to 12, you get to come be a camper at the normal weeks of camp. I say that normally because our youth and music camp is you're up to 17. You can come as the teenagers. We call that teen camp. Our music and teen camp. So the 7th, you get to come up to your 17, and so. That's the age range of a camper. But when you become a staff member, you can start working as a staff member at 15.
Oh. Okay.
In the dining room and the dishwashers and those things. You can start working as a staff member at 15 years old. But to be a camp counselor, you have to be 18 and up.
Okay.
You have to be quote unquote an adult. You have to age-wise be an adult. Sometimes our brains are different. I want you to be a kid as much as you want to when it comes to being a camp counselor. But yeah, you have to be 18.
It's great to hear, we hear stories of kids who get jobs very young out of a need for the home.
Yeah.
But it's great to hear that, we're providing a job for the kids, but it's not necessarily for a need for the home, but it's almost a need for the kid to be in a good environment.
Yeah.
So it's great to hear that, we're providing that opportunity in a different switch so they don't correlate, working with something negative.
Yeah. A lot of our kids, especially at the 15 and 16-year-old age, when they're trying to learn how to work with money, you just handed me a check. Probably the most money I've ever seen in my entire life in one time. What do I do with this? So the cool thing about being on camp staff at the DYS and the other leadership staff that we have, teaching them about bank accounts, teaching them about hey, save some of that. You might need it. Spend a little bit here, get you some snacks or whatever. But you got school clothes you got to buy when you get home. Save some of that for school clothes. Our counselors are usually college students. They come as college students. They come in the summer. It's a summer job they get to do in the middle of the summer. So they're saving for college and they're trying to buy cars and those type of things. So helping them. I remember last year I did 4 or 5 runs in the town just to teach them to get kids driver's license because it's the first time they had enough money to get the driver's license. And so I remember on the weekend last summer. This is just one of the things I'm a sucker for a kid that want to learn and want to grow and want to do better themselves. So I set up a little course with the golf carts to teach kids how to drive. Just because the kid was like, nobody in my family has a car. I really want to get my driver's license, and I don't know how to drive. And I was like, cool. I have golf carts over here. We can do the basics, get around, and then once we figure this out, we'll at least you have somewhere to start from. So we set up a little course so they can learn how to drive around on the golf carts and things of that nature. Just because it's ways to be able to teach them simple life skills.
Oh yeah.
We get every year. It never fails. We get a kid who, hey, my tire's flat. And how do I change a tire? So I'm out there teaching them how to change tires. You would think that these things don't happen at summer camp, but these are things that our staff have to deal with sometimes. Batteries dying. What do I do here?
Yeah.
My car won't start. So it's just those type of opportunities as well. Not just the nature of camp, but the relationships you get to build with some of these kids who won't ever have an opportunity to. I don't have maybe not a father in the home to teach me how to change this, or they have recitals and conservatories, so all the kids have to wear the ties. So I had to teach a kid how to tie a tie.
Yeah.
So it's just all those different opportunities to become. I learned how to tie a tie this summer at summer camp. Yeah, at summer camp. So it's just kind of cool.
It goes back to, like, some of those are first. So even the first for some of the campers, it's
first for the staff. Yeah,
it could be first for the staffs. But even like I think 16 rite of passage learning how to drive, but really thinking about it, some of these inner city kids, they might take the bus every single day to work, school, or to work, or to see friends or whatever, but they might not have the opportunity to learn how to, nor would I want to learn how to drive in inner city Atlanta.
Yeah, that's probably not the best place.
I probably wouldn't want to. That'd be very intimidating. But it's great to hear that, again, like in a different way, we're providing opportunities and different resources. And thank you for going, being that person for those kids. I can see why you're in the role that you're in, because I feel like it fits for what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. It's been so fun hearing everything. And I agree. I think, there's tons of ways that you can help support our youth, whether in Metro Atlanta, just around you. And it can be from financial donation, anywhere. So get creative, like we're an opportunity and we're a place to help support the people in our area. So thanks everybody for listening. And if you would like to support, we'll have all the links below, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
See you later.